pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for attending the March 4th. Roll call. John Hodgkin's here.
I am Joe Bailey. I'm here.
John Mullen's excused as he's in Florida. I don't know how close he was to Alabama, but he's in Florida. What's going on in Alabama?
Tornadoes.
23 people killed.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay, signature please. Minutes from the last February 25th meeting. I have read them. They're in order.
Make a motion that we accept the February 25th, 2019 minutes as written.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
All right.
All right, next. Abatements.
Already me.
Whoa, that looks like a big stack.
Oh yeah, well I got liens and abatements. So, the abatements, I have 1, 2, 4, 5 of them have been denied. Avatar explains why, the attachment, so that's one of them. There's 3 in one memo there, and then this is the, you guys are familiar with this one, that's the elderly exemption that they were going for, but they won Avatar as the.
Talk about them on public?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Mr. Spraggers in Ridge Road.
I didn't know that.
Because I've been dealing with him for 3 months now. But right here, it says it, that's his signature,
Okay.
and then it says it in here, Old Trust.
So, you said Ridge Road? Right.
Yep, Ridge Road, yep.
Mr.
Swagger.
Swagger. Okay, this is for a 2018 abatement request. Wow.
Yeah, it's a long one.
Two-pager.
And all these can do BTLA if they don't agree with the decisions that Avatar made,
Okay.
and then you guys ultimately
The
have
next
that.
step is to come before us. Taxpayers applied for abatement of this 7-acre parcel improved with a ranch-style home and garages assessed at $496,500. This is 438 Ridge Road. Taxpayer states that the assessment splits the land into 2 categories. The assessment increased disproportionately to the general level of assessment. There's no market for this type of property. It is overbuilt. No adjustment for size is applied, and no consideration is given for functional or economic factors. The taxpayer also states that the living space is less than 25% air conditioned. The entire town underwent a reevaluation in 2018, and there was no contact from the taxpayer during this informal hearing process.
No, that's,
That's what we vote on each year at the town meeting. The assessment card does not break down the land into separate components. All the land is considered a single-family residential use. The zoning requires a 5-acre minimum, and that is why the first 5 acres is separated from the excess or remaining acreage. The first 5 acres are valued, this is the assessor writing this, okay? This is not the owner. First 5 acres are valued differently because they contain the infrastructure to support the home. The remaining 2 acres cannot be subdivided and therefore do not carry the same value. The average townwide assessment increase was approximately 10.7% during the revaluation. This does not mean that every property changed exactly 10.7%. The whole town was appreciated by 10.7%. Each individual property changed differently due to the unique and different characteristics of each property and market demand. Taxpayer states there's no market for this type of property. While this is the taxpayer's opinion, there's no market evidence to support this claim. Collectors and tinkerers are often in search of properties similar to this one. No extra functional economic depreciation has been added because none appeared necessary based on the access, utility, and condition of the property. Size adjustments are applied to all buildings that exist on the property. The apartment has 1,010 square feet of living area and shows a size adjustment in the building details low. the garage does have a footprint of 14,584 square feet.
Wow.
Whoa, that's bigger than mine.
It's a warehouse.
Yeah, he stores the old cars in there.
Oh.
It's that
Oh,
problem.
thank you.
It's huge.
But there are size adjustments noted on each building in the extra features valuation section of the property card. The real estate market can change regardless of changes to a property, and values fluctuate as a result. To state that there's been no improvements doesn't mean that maintenance has not occurred. The property and buildings are well maintained, I agree. Property card in general notes section states, the property card in the general notes section states that air conditioning is a mini split or ductless air conditioning unit. Typically, this would be capable of cooling more than just room with living space and is physically attached and integrated to the real estate. The taxpayer states that an appraisal is scheduled to be completed and will not be submitted before the abatement deadline of 1 March 2019. This is not being considered with the application because it has not been submitted timely with the application. Okay?
So that one will go to BTLA
Right.
because he'll have it afterwards.
With lack of market evidence and support, I recommend this abate be denied. And I don't think you need a vote from us, it's just making this public knowledge.
You actually have to sign it. It's actually
Oh,
up to
oh.
you guys.
Okay, but it's not a vote per
So,
se.
no,
It's not a
so
vote,
when we
but-
sign it, we're supporting what
Right.
advertised. told us.
Exactly. You want to
Right.
support. I would recommend.
You already
supporting
signed that one?
Yeah,
All right.
let them take it to BTLA and let them, if they have extra
that. Yeah, I mean,
documents, they go with it.
he was
but-
aware of it. I explained to him March 1st is the deadline, and the appraisal had to come in before March 1st. And he fully understood, so that one will go to BTLA.
Today's date is all right, the 4th
Yeah.
March. All right, and one, they go to her or back to you?
It goes back to me. I had to
Okay.
write a denial of the letter.
This one is again denied,
There's 3 of them in one denial.
well,
Yeah.
the first one says Barboza, Dan, the
Yeah.
other one says Illingwood.
And the other one is Stevens.
Okay,
So pretty much, what people don't understand when you do an abatement,
Oh,
you
it's
have to
Stevens.
prove to them that you're getting not a great, an assessment, and most people don't know how to, market value is market value. Can't really fight that.
this property is located at 17 Spruce Road, over in the backside. Taxpayers filed for abatement on this .987 acre water access parcel improved with a raised ranch assessed at $196,500 and a .24 acre vacant water access parcel assessed at $17,500. That can't be on Spruce.
Water access, yeah.
Spruce goes down to the water?
No, but they have water access
they have
because
water
they're deeded
access.
Oh,
village.
Yeah.
okay, all right,
You
so
don't
it's
have
not-
water frontage, but water access, which is
Okay.
17,000.
The property states that the water access is being assessed twice, and the vacant lot is wet, and the property around them only went up an estimate of $10,000. The water access is deeded on both of the lots owned by the taxpayer, which is correct.
Yeah.
So when the water access is not being assessed, again, this is written by the assessor. So the water access is not being assessed twice, it's being assessed to each lot that has right to access to the water. The vacant lot has been conditioned down 75% due to the wetness and limited use. So the assessor said, we need to reduce the value somewhat. This is consistent with similar lots in the development and is equitably assessed. It was already done before the request for the abatement. The two properties on Spruce Road that are used as support are different in size, age, number of bedrooms, bedrooms, bathrooms. The lots are also considerably smaller than the subject. Without adjustments for these differences, this presents an apples to orange comparison. The taxpayer is not applying the value for the property. There's no market evidence to support the claim that the assessment is too high or disproportionate to the general level of assessment in town. The water access is correctly assessed individually to each of the lots. With lack of evidence and no error in assessing, I recommend the abatement be denied. You can get ready to read the next one. This one has 3. This is 154 Lake Shore. Anybody know where Lake Shore is? The one on the backside? Okay. Taxpayers filed for abatement on this .312 acre parcel improved with a raised ranch style home assessed at $323,200. Taxpayer states that the sale was furnished. Oh, the sale was furnished, like when you bought it was furnished. The 12x9 shed under the deck, it's not a shed, and the open porch is just an entry to the house. Taxpayer finds a value of $285,000, wow, which is about $40,000 less. Citing 2 properties on Pinkham Road as evidence with Zillow and Realtor.com as resources. The property was visited on July 9th, 2018 for data and sale verification as part of the townwide revaluation, with process completed in 2018. It should also be noted that there was no contact from the taxpayer during the informal hearing process where these concerns could have been addressed. The physical data was verified on the exterior of the home as nobody answered the door. The open porch measures 4 by 5 and is simply a covered entry to the house. This is an accurate description and consistent with other similar structures in other homes in town. The taxpayer also states there's no shed under the deck. There is a 12x9 straw hung storage structure constructed underneath the deck attached to the house that was measured and verified at the time of inspection. The taxpayer states there have been no changes to the home since the purchase in 2017, and since the structure existed in July of 2018, it would have existed at the time of purchase and for the entire 2018 tax year per the taxpayer. The properties on Pinkham Road in the abatement are not equal to the subject. One has only water access and the other is considerably smaller in size and is a ranch, not a raised ranch, with inferior waterfront to the subject. Zillow and Realtor.com are automated valuation models. They cannot take into consideration all the conditions of sales like foreclosures, bank sales, estate sales, probate cases, and non-market transfers. These, in Zillow and Realtor.com, are not used in developing, assessing property values, as distressed sales do not reflect the general market. Anybody here ever follow Zillow?
Yeah.
This assessor is absolutely right.
Yep.
In some of their assessments through Zillow are pretty wild. The taxpayers provided no evidence to support the opined value, and it is far below what the taxpayer purchased the property for. Wow. So this person is saying the property value has gone down, which I don't think has happened. The property is listed for sale using MLS and a realtor with 109 days listing time, typical market exposure for the type of property. The original list price was $385,000. Wow. And the listing contained the description furnished, no extra cost. There are no special situations noted in the closing documents and no concessions noted either. The lack of support, proper market analysis adjustments. I recommend this abatement be denied. Oh, sure. All right. Over on the other side of town, Deer Run. Where's Deer Run?
On Middleton Hill.
Down on 153. 122 Deer Run.
Stole the trash can. Yes, you'll see it there tomorrow morning.
The taxpayers filed for abatement on this 1 acre parcel improved with a single wide mobile home assessed at $111,700. Taxpayer states they're being assessed for a crawl space. There is no cement pad and they will not get market value because they live beside a huge junkyard. That's the
Poor guy.
thing. The property was inspected in 2017 as part of a previous update. At that time, the crawl space was viewed. A crawl space does not have to have a cement pad to be considered a crawl space. This is actually very typical in older homes. The exterior of the home has a cinder block wall and is partly open to the full basement area where the heating equipment and other mechanicals exist. While the neighboring property does have a large amount of cars and other items throughout, most of it is downhill from the subject property and does not need to be traveled. So I guess you get to the good house first and the bad house is after it. A line of trees at the property line and several evergreen trees have begun to grow in the clutter next door. During the townwide reevaluation last year, no appointment was made to discuss any of these concerns during the informal hearing process. Lack of market evidence and so forth. I recommend this again be denied. Okay. I agree, all three should be denied.
So Mr. Glidden, that's an elderly tax exemption, the one that you're gonna be reading, if you read it.
Okay.
That was the one that we was barely over, I think, $700 to meet the 21,000. And
Oh, we just.
Avatar, I think we already discussed that one. You just need to sign it now.
Yeah.
That's the elderly one, elderly exemption.
Boom. On one hand, it is understandably uncomfortable to discuss this out in public. On the other hand, this country has very much evolved the right to know, to the point that it seems to be a right to know everything.
Good to know. It's a good RSA right there.
Well, the thing is, like, what you read, they've all had opportunities to come down, sit down with the Avatar
Yeah.
in an informal meeting like that, and never took the opportunity to do
Right.
so, so. It's not like they didn't have a choice, so.
And also a lesson, if you want to get an abatement, you best have some documentation.
How about letting them in your house?
That would help.
This goes back to her. Oh, good.
And
Thank you.
I also have, just so you're aware, lien notices went out today. My liening date is April 15th.
All right, let's read this one.
Oh, okay.
and then
No,
we'll-
that
I
was,
don't
that
have
was,
anything to read, do you? Because you've already.
You've
yeah,
already
we already
done
done
Just
that
sign
one,
it?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you just
Great.
need to sign.
Go
All right.
ahead.
So, lien notices went out today. My liening date is April 15th, and my deed date is May 30th, just so you're aware. I've already picked the dates. But this is what the lien total is gonna be if no one comes in and pays it for it. It's about $249,000 with everything. It's not bad, actually, to be honest with
Lien
you.
date is when?
April 15th at 12. My deed date is May 30th at 12. Thank you. But these are just lien notices. The problem, the lien notices go out today, but they get a $19 fee because it has to be certified.
Are these the first year in lien notices?
This is 2018's only.
Right, but for these people, is it their first?
No, probably not. Sometimes, some are yes, some are
Bailey's not
no.
on there, I'm all set.
Come on, then.
So,
This looks like the H's here.
Thanks a lot.
they don't have a lien yet, they're just, they pretty much, you know.
I'm looking for pyramids.
Of course,
How many years before the
have
town gets excited? 3 years.
it's
Okay?
excited.
So,
And we have a lot so far on that one.
Oh,
What, on the 3? Oh, no kidding.
Cause you figure 16 was a huge, huge tax year,
wow.
huge. So even if you, like, most deeds are for about 3,000, say, to get buy the property back, or
Yeah.
just before we deed it. 16s are, you're looking into like 8, 10, $12,000 just to
No,
have us not deed
Clear
it.
it,
It's,
yeah.
16s are hard.
So how many did we mail out today? Do we know?
Over
20, 30,
probably
40.
70.
No, it was like 40, like 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was like 3
I don't know,
sheets
my
of
eyes
stickers or so. So that's,
Yeah.
oh well, maybe 30, oh yeah, no, it's like 90. There's
Okay,
30
yeah.
sheets of,
Yeah, so.
30 stickers per sheet.
yeah, so there's over 90.
Wow.
It'd be like
But, I mean,
107.
you have the interest imposed, which are wrote on the bottom, like what's extra to the town.
is this all public knowledge?
This is all public knowledge, you can go on
Yeah.
tax kiosk.
I don't wanna read it all, but.
They,
There's
like
a
I
lot.
said, they're not
There are any
liens
of
yet,
us
they're
on that
just,
list?
Right.
they're just,
If you don't read them all, I won't read any of them.
I don't, you know, you'd be here all night.
Oh, it's like, if you pick it
I
up,
just wanted to let you guys know,
I
just,
only been around
usually I let
for
you know the dates.
All right, if someone wants this, I don't know how long you're staying, but if you're not here when the meeting's over and someone wanna look at it, they could
They're more than
come
welcome to, yeah.
on, like, during the day.
Or I can, if they really wanna look at it after the meeting, I can definitely show them, but.
Just leave it with me, I'll have it.
Okay.
Just give it to you tomorrow, if somebody wants to really see it.
It's more the deeding ones. that
Anybody want me to
usually
check
wanna see.
I know, mine's on there.
Huh?
Mine's on there for a lien. My property next door.
But it's not a lien, it's not a lien,
Get
yeah,
ready.
it's just
You got till April 15th.
you have until April 15th. She's like, it's gonna be a lien, don't worry about it.
No, maybe not, depends on how much I owe the IRS.
Alright,
Thank you.
good, next.
But your deed date for May 30th is not from these. That's
No,
another whole list
these
that
are
we
my
haven't
two
done
lists,
yet.
yeah, these are my
Just
whole
want that
list that
clear.
you guys will see.
So that's just your lien list, that's not your deed.
These are just my
Right.
2018s,
So
yeah.
the deed list would be more interesting.
Yeah, I think that deed is the other.
This is more of a warning.
This is just a warning saying,
Okay.
hey, you have until April 15th to get off the lien list.
I mean, interest starts filing.
Yeah, so this one is the interest, and the fees is what's on this one, so they got a $19 fee because of the certified mailings.
And once again, it's not just the selectmen that can see this, anybody can.
Right.
Yeah, environment, and here's your tax kiosk.
Alright,
Yeah.
okay,
It's all there for.
thank you.
It is, it's all public.
How do you get a lien when the deed's in the name of a dead guy?
Well,
We have one. Or
Yeah, I
two.
know.
we do
We
actually,
have a couple.
we have a couple,
Oh, I'm sure, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm aware of at least another one.
yeah.
But
Yep.
the estate settles it.
If the estate hasn't been settled, then the person's been
It's
dead
nothing,
for
yeah. We go by what's on the
over
deed.
10 years, because I think she
Yeah.
died before my father died, so.
Alright, and at some point, you know, years from now, at some point, it's gonna be settled one way or another.
Yeah, well, they're selling the property, so I'm not sure it'll have to be settled then.
Mhm.
Okay, next, alcohol and drug-free workplace policy.
Okay, so the personnel policy's been reviewed. We reviewed this. The legals reviewed it. I didn't do any changes except the ones that legal advised, and I have a stamp for you guys to sign. It's gonna be added to the personnel policy as an appendage.
So, and this is an update to there is something in the old policy, but it was not.
Right, we reworded that, that's
Right.
next that you sign, just the
Okay.
rewording. Basically, it's just gonna tell you to reference that, so.
We have to make a motion to.
Yeah, well, just a short overview. There are, I think these are federal laws regarding who has to undergo random drug testing, okay? Anyone that wants to be hired here undergoes drug testing, first time, and that's kind of it. But beyond that, there are some people, certain jobs, people with certain CDL licenses, I believe police officers, yes, no?
No.
Okay. That have to be routinely, randomly tested. It's paid for by the town. We were doing this back in 2003 or 2004, and somehow the whole thing slipped through the cracks, and we haven't been doing it, but we should be doing it. We have a personnel policy committee made up of representatives from highway, police, I'm guessing fire,
Yeah.
selectmen, okay, to review what our personnel policy says about this. After much consultation with lawyers, we have tried to make the policy the way it should be. So now we're just voting to approve it, and then we can start implementing it. I will state publicly that even though I have no CDL license, as a selectman, put me on the list for random drug testing, okay? By all means.
Same with me too.
All right, so we need a motion to,
I would make a motion that we adopt a new alcohol and drug-free workplace policy, effective immediately.
I'll second. Any discussion from everybody? This is not just something that the selectmen have gone through, the whole committee on the personnel policy worked on this, yes.
I used to run a drug alcohol random testing program myself, so how was your random selection chosen?
We hire a company, is it Seacoast? Okay.
Oh, you just ready?
Right, so they,
Yep.
to make sure that it's honest and not biased by one of us, they run it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell you, Joanne, what they do is they send out, if you get,
I used to do it.
yeah. Okay, well, I only know because Jim's in it and I'm the notifier, so, because you can't be the person who does it if you're the person who's in the program.
Just remember that one there, Laura, so now we have to approve the, to implement into the book, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try to keep
While-
it private between flights.
While in the Navy, I ran the drug testing policies for our unit. And I did it by every month, random digit between 0 and 9. And that was the last digit of your social security. Pick the 5, and your social security number into the 5, you're up.
To this.
This is all I keep.
So question about this, so you're saying you're implementing this, so you're starting to be in the program, you're already in the program, or you're starting the program effective?
After all this is signed.
We're already enrolled in the program,
Okay,
but we have to have them, the employees have to sign this before they can actually be picked, basically.
and if they choose not to sign it,
We can sit there and take it, refuse to sign, but they received it.
can we stick, if they
All we have to
refuse-
do is notify them we made a change to the policy,
Right,
and that's what we're doing. We've
Right.
updated the whole process.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have to let them know that we have updated the process.
Mm-hmm.
They get a copy of it to put in their policy manual they already have, and we have to have a sign-off sheet that they received it.
oh, that's what
Doesn't matter whether you agree with it or not, only that
Oh,
you
okay,
received
so
it.
the signature is that they received it,
Right.
not that, okay.
And then once that comes back, we have everything done, and at that point, we'll implement the policy to get it started.
Their agreement is getting a paycheck, we're not getting it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess my other question is if this hasn't been being done since 2004, and I don't know how long, so you're saying whenever we hire somebody, since 2004, they've been drug tested when they got hired?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay.
and I actually went back and checked.
No, I'm
So,
just
yeah.
saying, because if that's how that works, and
Yeah.
which I would thought it would, so.
Good?
Okay, so basically, what we got to do is, in the policy book itself,
Right, I just changed the drug and alcohol section, so that's all it says, and I updated the appendix.
okay, so under the book, it says drug and alcohol abuse. Okay, employees of the town of Middleton shall follow the alcohol and drug-free workplace policy in accordance with the procedure outlined in Appendix I. And Appendix I is in the book.
Is the,
Right,
will be
right.
just actually what you
And
just
what we
signed.
have in there now is just like a paragraph concerning this whole thing, but now we have probably 6 or 7 pages.
Right.
Okay, so it's a little more in-depth, but it protects the employee and the town a whole lot better. So I make a motion that we go ahead and implement Appendix I to the existing policy.
I'll second. All discussion, everybody understands what we're
How
doing.
about all our boards? Are they included in this?
Anybody who has to, it's all, it's
It has to do with the
Not-
CDL license.
right, it has to do with, basically, all the employees who have to have a CDL to
Or who hold
Yeah,
one.
because that's the
Because
way it
even
was
I'm in
when
the-
we were doing, but I thought the state weren't picking them at that time.
And oddly enough, while it's okay to have anyone with a drug test before they're hired, once they are hired, if they are not driving trucks with a CDL, you cannot just start randomly testing them.
Right.
Even though, unless you have suspicion, or if they've been involved in an accident, that might give you some more rights, but just in general, you know, I can't go to everybody on the ZBA and said, it's your turn to be tested. It's not, okay? It would take considerable suspicion in order to do
Other than
something.
that, they have to have a duty in town that puts them in that position, they have to be drug tested. So, I can tell you downstairs, automatically, any officer is hired, everything's done.
Yeah, but they do
Even
that.
part-timers, it makes no difference.
Anybody that holds a medical card has to be done. I held one for years, and every year it was
Yes.
drug
The
test.
municipality employees now do not need medical cards anymore.
Really?
Really?
No. Not if you only work for the municipality. If I worked on my own, then I would have to still get one, but from the municipality aspect, I don't anymore.
This is strictly out of curiosity, nobody has to answer if they don't want to. We're talking about a municipality here, town of Middleton. In your own private sector job, Is there drug testing beyond being hired?
Oh, yeah, it's some places,
Why?
for sure.
Yeah. Random?
Jim,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
yes, Jim has to be a
That's a
random drug
stipulation of
testing
being
program,
hired.
I gotta pay.
Right.
Once you
If
take
you-
that job, you're
up for
admitting
it,
that,
yes.
you're saying that, yes, I will abide by your rules and
I
regulations.
think that is nowadays, I mean, back like when I got hired, no, but I think any time now when you get hired, most places it's
It's automatic.
standard hiring
We were talking
procedure.
earlier, like, yeah, I know when I went for Heritage Propane, okay, they done a financial background on me.
Yeah, well, what?
They'll do a lot of that stuff.
Even as a subcontractor to a general, they can stipulate all employees are drug tested before you come on site.
Yeah.
And even, yeah, but then after that, still random?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm surprised, you know, my husband contracts with Pike, and I'm surprised that they don't require evidence that he's in a program. I'm just,
Very much surprised.
but,
It's-
because
it's-
the whole liability is on him. But,
It's insurance driven. so
Well,
it's,
but he has to, right, but he has to show, he has like $1 million liability
Sure.
insurance, so they're covered that way,
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm
But does he have a
surprised.
med card?
Yeah.
So do they drug test you for your personal med card?
Gifts
They
through
could.
DOT.
No, they do, yes, they do require to see his medical card, but they don't require that, to know that he's in a federal.
But I wonder if when he got his med card, if they did a test then, because that's how they used to do it.
Pike doesn't because he's a contractor, so they
Right, I
don't
mean, when Jim
Oh.
goes and gets his med card, is he
Yeah.
tested then?
test it.
So that's how he kinda
That's how
obtains his med
my
card.
guys used to have to do
So
it.
at least
Get the
once
little cup.
every, right.
I don't know, he just got his medical card the last week or whatever, updated or whatever, so I don't know, if, I'll have to ask him.
What happens when they legalize marijuana?
Good luck.
That's total separate, it's total separate thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it is.
I know,
So you can partake in it recreationally, but you taking that
But
piece
I
that you
mean,
get.
until it
Yeah,
changes
yeah,
the law and stuff
yeah.
like that, I know, working for the company, okay? Company policy is no medical, no drugs, okay? And unless it's prescribed by a doctor,
Right,
and it doesn't not interfere with your daily routine of driving a truck or doing your functions of your job, okay? I can tell you right now, even if it passes like that, the companies don't have to update their policies to make that. But, so if you want to participate in the legal marijuana, that's fine, but you still may not have a job because of it.
correct, yes, I think they're
So, I
totally
mean,
two separate.
This is where you're gonna find a lot of court battles when I
Oh,
start
yeah,
going.
there'll be a lot of-
I lost my job because I smoked some pot this weekend or whatever. Yeah, well, you know. Not a-
oh, that's not what you meant, I'm sorry.
No, that was not an admission. On the record, there's not an admission.
All those in favor?
This show will get like 40 hits tomorrow, you know.
All those on YouTube.
Drugs,
They're gonna critique, they're gonna critique you,
On
Joe.
more serious stuff,
Joe's doing drop.
Gaff Tech proposal.
If people don't come to these meetings, they don't realize how much
Right.
fun they're missing.
What is that?
What's Gaff Tech?
The Gaftech's the company that does the fueling station.
Okay, I mean, I see it, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that guy lives down on Adams Way, drives a gas truck.
Yeah, anybody, they're probably the biggest company in Maine and New Hampshire that does gas pump repairs and stuff
Oh,
like that.
okay,
And
okay.
underground tanks, that sort of thing for any
Talking about the
service.
tanks right
Yeah.
out here.
Yeah.
It has diesel, gasoline, anything else? That's it, okay.
Does
It's
it
in a
have,
little cage out
does
there.
it have one kind of diesel, or do you have the off-road diesel?
It's on-road diesel because they're over-the-road vehicles, and it's gasoline,
Oh, okay,
so it's over the road.
even, because you take the loader on the road, right, so
Yeah.
that would be, okay, I was just wondering, because you can use the.
So you know how they did that whole caged in the whole
Right.
project from the state requirement and all that? This is one of the last things that has to be done, and that's their proposal. There's some cracks in the concrete, and Rick says that the guys could fix it, but knowing Gaftech is the inspector of it, he doesn't wanna have to do it 2 or 3 times, so they might as well just do it.
So have Gaff Tech do it.
You know, that containment area, if you get cracks, I mean, that means fuel can seep down through, and now you just bypass everything you're trying to do, so.
How much
It's
is it?
$4,349.29
Per year?
No,
Or
for the
is it
job.
repairs?
Just to do
for the repairs.
4,000, okay.
Yeah. So, let me ask you a question. Out of that money that Rick gets there, we can actually take it out of that
He's paying it from the block grant.
block grant, because that,
Yep.
okay.
That's the only
So they don't,
recommended.
that's not gonna affect the taxpayers one bit, it's just not
This is
getting it done.
required for the inspection to pass.
Okay,
And
no,
it's not something that's been budgeted for,
No.
so that's why it can come out, right?
Alright, a motion to
I
accept
make a motion to
the
accept the bid,
contract.
yeah, the contract, from Gaff Tech for $4,349.21.
I'll second.
Concrete.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, aye for me, so we're good. Good.
Get her done.
It's gonna be fun.
I'm sorry. It's kind of funny.
We should have decaf.
I was gonna say, it's kind of funny, the guy never smoked his life.
Yeah.
It'll be critiqued. You should have the right moves.
Alright, old business, New Durham pit plan.
So I just have a question. I have I got the plan back from New Durham, the huge Mylar that they signed. I need to record that. I can't mail that, right? I have to take it down there. Because in order to do the deed for Mr. Morgan, I have to put a plan number on that after that thing's been recorded. I've never done it, so I'm just curious on how that's done.
Well, is there a problem with bringing it down?
No, is that all what I do? Because then they want a copy of it. I'm assuming we have to print a copy. They're not gonna give me
I think when you take
one.
it down the registry of deeds and stuff like that, they'll help you through the process, but they'll make copies. You can ask them to make you a copy. If we have to pay for it, we have to pay for it.
Okay.
We
Yeah,
send it back
only
over to
like
them.
$3,
So-
I think.
It's
But if I was,
No,
Oh, maybe that might be more, but I'm just saying.
if I was
Yeah,
you,
they're-
I would check and see if there's accepting that type of because for the planning board, no more Mylars. So
It'd be
you
worth
might
it.
not
It'd be
have
worth
to
the call
do
to
the
the registry of
Mylar.
deeds to find out.
So, call them first.
You might be going for no reason.
Your other choice is tomorrow and Wednesday, I will be at Riverside Rest Home. I can walk across the street to the registry of deeds.
done.
That'll help.
It's all yours.
So is this the lot line adjustment
Yes.
finally?
Finally.
Okay.
Because I couldn't get the
Going
deed
for 4
done
years.
until the New Durham Planning Board signs the
The Mylar.
full-size Mylar
Yeah.
thing, which I just
Oh,
picked up
okay.
last week.
So I can either take it tonight or do you have to do some work and I can get it tomorrow or
You
Wednesday?
can take it tonight, it's literally on my desk.
Okay,
So I just need the
Make sure.
plan, I need the plan number, whatever they're
And
gonna
you
give
need
you,
copies.
and I need copies.
what happens to the original, it stays with them?
I believe it's recorded, yeah,
Okay.
right? Do they give it
Yeah,
back?
they're recorded.
Do they just scan it, or do they give it back?
They're
No,
recorded.
they'll take it.
Oh,
They
they-
take it
they
and they'll
keep
mail
it.
it back.
Okay.
I believe they mail it
So
back.
even if they have to email me a PDF, Eddie said he can print me a full size if I needed one. On
Okay.
his massive printer or whatever he's got with
Okay. Alright,
it. Perfect.
that's it?
That's all I have.
Any other old business? New business? Elections.
I just wanted to do another, everybody knows elections, your thing is Wednesday night, meet the candidates, everybody should get a letter.
Yes, we
right?
did.
That's this Wednesday night?
Yeah.
This Wednesday, 6:30 next door.
Town hall.
Good.
Elections is the 12th, 7 to 7.
Yeah,
Town meeting's the 16th, 9 AM.
Yep.
You guys will be there for everything, so it's only 2 of you right now, so.
Don't worry,
How's the
Roger, we're
books
just gonna
coming?
write you in front.
Folks will be ready tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
All over it.
Who, what elections occur on Tuesday? Both the town and the school.
Yes.
You
Yes.
get two separate ballots,
Mhm.
right? When does the school have their meeting? They don't. They
Right.
have what's called SB2, Senate Bill number 2, where all of their warrant articles are voted yea or nay on Tuesday when you're in the booth picking your officers, okay? They do not have a town meeting, it's the town people
And it's
opted
just
to
deliberate.
not have a
Right,
regular town
correct.
meeting, they have SB2, okay? So, but we, on the town side, still have the town meeting, okay? Question, or no? No, I thought you had your hand up.
Oh, well, yes, absentee ballots?
They are ready.
Yeah, okay.
Janelle, will be here, her normal hours this week, so she
Okay.
can definitely give them out.
Okay,
I do have a question about something.
fire at will, I'm not
Oh,
will.
There's no will here, so, Have we issued any permits to go on posted roads?
I don't
I have
know,
not
man.
seen any.
And the roads are not posted yet.
Well, no, Ridge
Well-
Road is posted.
Yeah, you're talking about posted because of the mud season.
I'm
It's
talking,
already
I'm
posted.
talking about regular
Yeah.
posted road.
Right.
Okay.
So there have no been permits for Ridge Road
I
then?
haven't seen any.
Alright,
There should have been. There's work being done on Ridge Road that an excavator has been hauled in and a dump truck has been driving in and out of, on Ridge Road.
The new house?
Oh.
I know exactly
Well, let
what you're
people
talking
know.
about.
Yeah,
So-
across the street from us.
in that vacant lot?
No,
No,
next
they-
door, they
There was a,
took one down and they're adding a new one.
They might have had one for a while though, cause that's a project that's been going on, so, but
I'm
I'd
gonna
have to
ask-
look.
But I'm gonna ask the question, now I'll ask this question. My understanding is those are only given out on a daily, not a time, there's not a week's time or 2 weeks. I thought it was on a day-to-day basis.
You're right, but I don't, I'd have to, no, I'd
I'm
have
just
to look.
asking the question because,
Yeah, I know the location, I can, we can check.
I have no idea whether.
Nope, we can check, I know which house you're talking
Yeah.
about.
One day there was a house there, there was
Yes.
gone.
And there's a modular being put on there.
yes,
The excavator's been there for 2 or 3 weeks.
yes,
Okay.
yes, and there's been a dump truck.
Same side as your house?
No.
No,
that's
up across the street.
I think I've heard something about this though before, that's why I am.
But I'm just, so I'm curious as to how the, and so this is a good question though, is how the process works, because I'm assuming they would have had to come to John, the building guy, to get the permit to get this all situated. Is he aware that if you're gonna be having heavy equipment on that road, that you need a permit to be driving across that road so that all the i's and dotted and the t's are crossed, so everybody knows?
That's why I think I've talked about this before, because this is a project that's been going on for a while.
Yes, it
It
has.
just actually started to take
It's
place.
just, yes, right, I think they've been in the queue for probably a home for probably 6 or 7 months.
Right.
So yes, it's been out there, it's just now it's finally their turn
I
to
would-
come up on the roster to happen.
I would think that the permit to be on the road would come from Rick.
Right, but I mean, but as
John
far as
would
that,
know.
they would need to know, John would know to tell the person, you need to,
Right.
because
Yeah.
otherwise they wouldn't necessarily know. So John, I think it would be John's,
Right.
his position to
There's a
say,
fee for that, right?
yes.
Yeah, so
there
then I
is.
would see it, cause usually the money comes through me
I
first.
think we do have a permit for Ridge Road though, in Ridge Road.
Yeah, but the permit was purchased when? 6 or 7
But
months
usually
ago?
it's for like a day or
A
two,
day-
a
it's
day
usually
or
not
two.
6 months worth, that's why, yeah.
Exactly. I think it was written out for a week, to be honest with you.
Now I would, so I would
I
take.
could be wrong. I
So
don't
if
know,
they-
I didn't look,
and that's
but
fine, if they paid for a week's worth of train, you know what I mean?
probably could,
Just
but
saying.
yeah. Which, it might have been that way, but yeah.
I'm just curious.
I'll look.
More business, less business.
Let's be-
Since the subject of the abatements was discussed, we talked
Yeah.
about the trash down in Deer Run Road.
You're right.
Anything progressing along, getting that cleaned up?
I've
You
not
mean that
received
house
any
that
other complaints, but certainly that's an ongoing problem. I do not have a good answer in that I'm not gonna tell Waste Management to send their,
No, I'm not talking about the trash at the end of the road, I'm talking about the property that
oh,
keeps
I haven't
collecting
heard any more
fines.
about that. no.
There's a lien on that.
Yeah.
Cause we've gone to court, we've done everything we can except basically spend taxpayer money on cleaning it ourselves.
And then sending them a bill that will never
Get paid. So there's a lien and there's court orders and all of that, so it's gone as far as I think that the board, unless we wanna spend more money.
There's not much we can do.
I don't want town to spend town resources down there cleaning that up,
Yeah.
unless we own the property, we can sell and get some money back out of it.
So when you said there's a lien on it, what does that mean, lien because they haven't cleaned up or lien because they haven't paid?
They've gone to court, and the court has ordered them to clean it up.
Right.
And they still haven't done it, so.
Right, so we've liened them for everything they owe us, which is so much per day per the court. So it'll keep accumulating this lien,
And it's
And then.
mounts up quick.
yeah.
Right, but.
What happens if they don't pay the lien and something happens, whatever, the town gets
Right,
the
no, I know,
property,
so
and
we
then
have-
we get to clean it up, and then if we sell the property, we can sell it for the value,
Right,
hopefully to
right,
come square.
right.
And I've been seeing ads occasionally here and there about people who will pay you to haul out vehicles. And what I'd like to do in the next I don't know, 6 months or so is make a collection of all this information. Maybe you could post that on the website, maybe we could get that and some other properties. I know of several that could use the cleanup by getting, and you get cash for those, so.
Well, the problem is, we gotta be careful.
They don't, yeah, they don't want
They don't
them
want to,
removed,
that's the.
and we can't really
No, I know
remove
you-
them.
No, I know that, but I'm saying that if maybe people know they can get $300
Yeah,
or more for a vehicle, maybe they'd be willing to.
You ever heard of the hoarders?
That show on TV?
That's a great joke.
Well, I mean, stop, because there's some of these people like that, oh my god.
Right.
That car means the world to me, you can't take that for $300.
Yeah,
I'm gonna repair it.
You know,
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm gonna repair
It's
it,
got
yeah.
no doors and stuff.
There's one down the road to Wolfboro, that, I don't know if it's still there or not, but he had a sign on it. This is not a junk vehicle, it is not for sale. Boy, it's junk.
It's got some.
A lawn ornament, what are you talking about? I need a few at my house.
Live free and die.
I'm gonna have 4 of them brought in and dropped off in front of my yard and be done by that.
Can help you out with that.
Alright, other business. Public participation, anything else going on?
Expect to see everybody at the vote.
That's right.
Gotta put my signs out tomorrow.
Yeah, especially since you're
gonna
running
update them.
unopposed.
Joe Bailey slapped me, a little wisp of smoke going up.
Thank you.
Alright, nothing else? Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn at 7:18.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye.
Wow.